Hi there everybody, John Exton here, back with the Numerule and showing you just another thing that we can do with it. We've got so many more lessons we can do. I want to focus on like a type of problem solving scenario. Somebody asked me, can you really solve problems with this? Can you manipulate it in such a fashion that the kids can work things out? Well, if you were looking at my last video, you would have seen that we solved the locker problem with the numeral, and it was perfect. Absolutely perfect for that. You should check it out if you haven't seen it. The locker problem. I won't tell you what it is. It's too interesting for me to give you the answer right now. Check the video out or find out what the locker problem is and then try and work it out yourself. Maybe even before you watch the video. But the kids would certainly be able to work it out with a numeral. What are we looking at today? Today we are looking at the Fibonacci sequence, and I've made what have I made? I've made a grid pattern here, and I'm going to show you what the Fibonacci sequence looks like when we use this type of grid, and then you'll be able to recognize the type of pattern in the natural environment, and the kids would find that absolutely amazing, and they will. And I'll try and explain that. Well, I won't try and explain it. I will explain that in just a minute. I want to tell you what the Fibonacci sequence is. And again, as I've mentioned, you can see it out in the natural environment in quite a few places. We won't talk about what they will be. You'll be able to guess once we work that out here. The Fibonacci sequence starts with 0, and what we do is we start the sequence off by adding on 1, okay? And then what you need to do is add on the previous number to the one that you actually have there, all right? So we have 0, we add on 1, and we get 1, all right? I'm going to write this Fibonacci sequence here because we will use it later. I'll turn this back around in a minute. So we started with 0, okay, then we added on 1. Now, we add on the previous number. In this case, the previous number is 0. So 0 plus 1 is 1. So in the Fibonacci sequence, we have 0 and then we have 2 1s. All right, in the next part, so we're still at 1. In the next part of the sequence, we add on the previous number. So we're at 1 and we're going to add on 1 again. So 1, add on 1 is 2. So let's write that one down. 2. All right. So now we're at 2. We need to add on the previous number. Well, on the ruler here, you can see what the previous number is right next to the number that you've just pressed down. So it's 2, add on 1, and we'll end up with 3. Just bear with me for a minute. It will make sense in just a second. I'll write that down. We're up to 3 here. So in the Fibonacci sequence, we've got this number and we add on the previous number, which is 2. So we've got 3, we're going to count on 2. Okay, 1, 2, and we end up with 5. Can you see that? Let's write that one down, 5. Excellent, all right. So in the Fibonacci sequence, we take that number, we add on the previous number, which is 3. So 5, count on 3, 1, 2, 3, and we end up with 8. Let's write that one down, 8. Excellent. All right, so in the Fibonacci sequence, we take that number and we add on the previous one. So let's count on 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we end up with 13. That's the next number in the Fibonacci sequence. All right, so we're at 13. So we look at the previous number, which is 8. All right, so we're going to count on 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, which is 21. Now, that's about as far as we can go with our numeral as far as the Fibonacci sequence is concerned. But I tell you what, that really helps to embed that as a concept. And then when you take this sheet and then you explain an activity further and say, well, we can actually see this sequence out in nature and in various things that human beings make, and well, let's see what that is, the kids will be actually amazed. So let's have a look at that. So in the middle of this sheet that I've prepared, we're going to call this our 0 starting point. All right, we're going to follow our sequence, a Fibonacci sequence. And we're going to use square numbers in this case. So our first one is 1. So what we do in this instance is we're going to curve around from one corner to the opposite corner. All right, so this is 1 times 1. You can see that square there. Let me hold it up for you so you can see it. And we're going from this corner all the way over to that corner there. Okay, let's go to our next one, 0 plus 1, which is 1 again. So from here, we go from that corner, 1 times 1, which is 1, so 1 squared, and we go from that corner to that corner there. It'll start making sense in a minute. You'll see what's going to happen. Fibonacci sequence. So we're at 1, we add on the previous number, which is 1, and we end up with 2. 2 squared being 4. Okay, you can see that square here. So we're going from this corner to this corner. We're following the curve around from corner to corner. You see what's happening? Amazing. We're at 2, add on the previous number, go to 3. We end up with 3. 3 times 3 being 9. You can see the square here. And we're going to curve around from that corner, following the same curvature, around to the next corner. You can see the spirals actually starting to take place. And then quickly we move on to 5, because we're at 3, we add on the 2, we get 5. 5 times 5 being 25. And we're going from this corner to this corner, following our curve around like that. One corner to the next. And then we move on to 8, which is obviously 64, which is here. 8 times 8, and we move from this corner, this part of the square, all the way around to the next corner, and then 5 plus 8, which is 13, the next one in our Fibonacci sequence, which is 169, by the way. Move it all the way around, following the curve from this corner to this corner. I'm going to turn this around so I don't make a hash of it. Could be a bit more curvy, but anyway, didn't say I was an artist. Okay, so that's 13, and then finally we move on to 8 plus 13, 13 plus 8, which is 21, which is our next one in the sequence. And you can see we're going to run out of space with this paper. If you had a larger piece of paper, you could do a fantastic spiral, and you can see what's happening here. So I'm just going to follow that curve around, imagine where that, that will be. So this will curve around here further like this, and out over there. I'll put an arrow on that, and you can see how our Fibonacci sequence is coming out when we put it on a bit of two-dimensional grid paper. Well, it's amazing. And where would you find that? Well, I reckon you'd find that in the ocean, say in a nautilus shell, or down on the beach, say, seashells, sea snails, snails in the garden. All right, there's obviously things we use with different types of springs and stuff like that. This sequence is used in with so many applications for the Fibonacci sequence, and a great thing for the kids to discover and to muck around with and try and understand that concept. So there it is. There's the Fibonacci sequence with the numeral. Now, you can't tell me that that's not a complex thing that you can do with the kids, and it's easy to manipulate and easy for them to understand. So, Fibonacci sequence with the numeral. Okay, hope you enjoyed it. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Thanks. See ya. Bye.